Hello, I'm back doing an energy reading for the collective. This is an all signs reading. This is Ebony of Black Femme Beauty Tarot. And I've been kind of MIA because I was doing work for this Cancer full moon we just had on the 3rd of this month, the first full moon of 2026. And it may not have occurred on the 3rd. It depends on where you are in the world, but I'm talking about this Cancer full moon. So I was doing work on myself and my stuff. So that's why I haven't posted. But what came to me was intentional harm. This came to me a couple of days ago, and then I was listening to some music, and then I had a conversation with a close friend of mine, and we were talking about, like, it came up, the theme of what we were discussing. It was just like some harm is intentional, some harm is unintentional. And it was the same thing I thought about a few days ago. So I decided, since it came up again, and some of the work that I did on myself was related to intentional harm and unintentional harm. But since the intentional harm thing kept coming up or resonated with me, I felt like I needed to do a video because yeah, anyway, so that's what we're here for. And I'm not going to intend this reading to be anything specific. We're just going to get messages for the collective. Earth, air, water, fire, as it relates to intentional harm in any aspect, whether you've done intentional harm, you've received intentional harm, the harm occurred indirectly and it was intentional, you found out. Like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I feel like the end result is like how to resolve intentional harm. Because that's really, because if I'm doing work on this Cancer full moon, work on myself, and it was intentional or unintentional, the root of the work that I'm doing, the essence of is like how to resolve it. Because I was on Threads also, and well, it wasn't just on Threads. Like, different people have been talking about not sleeping well and not doing this, and I was saying, like, hey, because it was something about, like, somebody posted, like, healers, therapists, seers, oracles, this, that, like, whatever. Have y'all not been able to sleep either, and all this other stuff. So a lot of posts about not being able to sleep. And I slept well, but I know it was partly to do with addressing the Cancer full moon energy of mother wounds, parental wounds. Cancer represents the moon, which is feminine, but Cancer and the moon are the mother. Like, the sun is the father, right? Even though people don't say the sun is the father, it is masculine energy. Like, the moon is feminine energy. All right, so we getting into it intuitively. All signs, messages, as it relates to intentional harm. What it is, let's identify it, and how it can be resolved for the collective. Earth, air, water, fire. Intentional harm. What's going on? Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So hopefully you didn't just skip to the reading. I was going to timestamp this, but you kind of really need to hear the first part as it relates to the Cancer full moon. So that can help you with resolving it in terms of why feelings came up for you. Because I think feelings came up for everybody that's conscious. I feel like it came up for everybody. We have fantasy here. What is this for the collective as it relates to intentional harm? There's an energy of some people causing intentional harm so they can relive what they felt like was home, safety, and stability by any means. And this fantasy, like, I mean, we know what a fantasy is, but I feel like that some people may have described it as a fantasy, but it's really delusions. You know, in the middle of this is love, right? Like I said, they created this to relive stability, security, safety, home, what was comfortable for them, because we got a huge home here. And this looks like a home for generations or multiple children or several generations under one roof, or multiple children, or, you know, well, I just said that. In the middle of this is love, like, you know. And I feel like this is coming up because, like I said, some of this intentional harm was centered around creating or recreating what felt like love. For those that are resonating with this or can resonate with intentional harm. And we have the eel here. This is really how to resolve it here. And this intentional harm that I'm speaking about, I mean, you may have recently dealt with this in the physical or feelings or emotions, or past issues, triggers have come up. But what is this here for the collective? This is the change, the resolving of the intentional, the wounds of the intentional harm. Because like I said on that thread, it's just like with the Cancer full moon, you should have been working on mother wounds or parental wounds for those of us who are intentionally working on ourselves. But I feel like sometimes you're working on yourself unconsciously, either because the decisions you make are going to lead you back to yourself every time, whether you're conscious of it or not. Oh, this ill here, what is this? Intentional harm for the collective. Some of y'all are on the road to realizing and the resolution of intentional harm. So some of y'all are on the road of realizing and the resolution. So you're realizing like this situation was purposeful. This person was purposeful. This action was purposeful. And then you have some that know that it was purposeful, know that it was intentional, or don't know. And they're still on their way to resolving it. But this is giving the overall energy of the ill is giving like you're going to be shocked. Like the mindset shift of realizing it, and then the means in which you go to the end, or go to the means in which you go to resolve this. And I don't feel like all of this is really actualized. That's why it's coming up in fragments for me. And this seems to be, it's not as straightforward as I thought it would be. I'm being guided to read the guidebook too. What lurks? Electricity and dishonesty. So like I said, the guidebook meaning for this is what lurks? Electricity and dishonesty. So like I said, the realization is happening. And the resolution for some. It's giving a little bit of belt to ass in this way. I mean, because it's like the anger and the justification. And I'm saying it's justification because when you realize somebody intentionally hurt you, I feel like there's anger, there's hurt, there's betrayal. I'm hearing something about vapid. The reaction, you know, lately the thing for my clients this week is anger gets shit done. And I'm not saying to go out and hurt anybody, disclaimer, or even hurt yourself. But sometimes being angry causes you to end this relationship, this situation, or walk away from this career or this company because of the intentional harm. Yeah, vapid, offering nothing that is stimulating or challenging. Yeah, it's giving realizing with real eyes too. What is this in the physical here for the collective? All signs, earth, air, water, fire, as it relates to intentional harm in this Cancer full moon. I do feel like this came up. Some people, reminders of wounds, reminders of parental wounds, mother wounds coming up has caused them to realize who the culprit was, right? So it may not even be like, oh, my parent did that. My parents did this. My parents did that. You may have gone past that. But the harm, intentional or unintentional, that you carried with that mother wound, with this Cancer full moon energy, is helping you realize the harm that is going on with you now, that is around you now, in terms of, you know, your self-improvement or the company you keep. Because some of this realizing, this actualization of harm could be yourself. You could be your own worst enemy. It's giving 12th house. I was reading something. What is this in the physical? One more time. I was reading something in terms of 12th house placements, whatever zodiac and planets are there. It tells you who your hidden enemies are. And I had heard about that before, but forgot all about it. So I did like a deep dive. And child, when I tell you, it was very revealing and specific. And it really has nothing to do, okay, with the zodiac itself. It's more so the traits. But some of the zodiacs that was mentioned, it's like I had saw that, lived it time and time again, child. But anyway, the realizing. So we're talking about here, this was the devil energy. So we talked about how somebody is by any means creating a situation to bring comfort, to reenact, to reconstruct what they felt was safe, what they felt was home, what their love language, right? And you know, it's fantasy here, but it was really like a delusion. And I feel like this was generational harm. Clarifying this full in the physical is the devil. Shadow, self-attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, toxicity. What's standing out is destructive behavior. Some of y'all have been through or witnessed or currently coming into full awareness of some destructive behavior, whether it be you yourself or a counterpart. Now, part of this conversation I was having, it was just like there was a energy dealing with another energy, and this one energy, they did drugs. And, you know, it was like lightweight, you know, or what would be deemed lightweight by society. So it was a little weed, right? But then the one energy that did the drugs had the other energy thinking like it was just weed, but it's like, no, you've been lacing that shit. So then when they realized that, they like, okay, I make my own. And then it was like, nah, it's a problem. Then this person tried to get help because they realized, okay, there's some sort of addiction and I didn't even know, you know what I'm saying, that I was being drugged. Then this person was like, no, you can't get help for yourself either. And it was just like, wait, so you intentionally, you lace somebody's stuff, and then when they try to get help, I mean, because that's a crime in itself in more ways than one. And then when they try to get help, you block that too. So you intentionally want to bring me down to the ground and have me chained and bound and controlled. Because you see these chains, right? So it's just like, and when it happened in the conversation, I was just thinking about intentional and unintentional harm, right? And this person did it by any means. Like, this is what they used to. This is what they grew up around. You know, they may have even experienced this boundness, this being controlled themselves. But they say, next time, I'm going to be on the other end. I'm going to be a puppet master. And it's just like, you didn't like it when it was happening to you. But you know, but that's love for you. This delusion, that's love for them. And you see, we got you burning here, right? And then they say the devil rules over what? Hell. And you'll burn in hell, right? Some of this love, y'all realizing, was very much detrimental. It was detrimental. But fire alchemizes, you know, it transforms, it transmutes, it ends it all so you can rebuild again. But some people don't feel like they're built to rebuild again. They have the resources to rebuild again. You know, some people, this realization, this actualization, this, you know, this awareness of what have been intentionally done to some of y'all, because the moon gonna illuminate some shit. A lot of people, it's just like they do the shit under the full moon. They do shit, and this is segue side note, right? They do shit, dishonesty, under the full moon, right? And they feel like, oh, you can't see me. But the thing is, if you tapped in this full moon, if you tapped into your feminine energy, and everybody has feminine energy, no matter your gender or how you identify. Everybody has feminine and masculine energy. It doesn't matter the sex. But if you tapped into your feminine energy with respect, right? It's going to be illuminated. It's going to be illuminated, right? And we just had this Cancer full moon. So some of these people, like I said, like the realization, it's not just, okay, I know my parent did this, or this is from my parent and what they didn't do and how they weren't there, he, him, her, whatever, right? But it's just like some of y'all got that understanding, but it's like now I'm realizing these people around me I'm sleeping with, I'm hearing the enemy. Because this situation, this conversation I was having, these people were in a union. So it was just like, wait, so you really sleeping with the, like, you really sleeping with the, you burning, right? A hunk of burning love. Like, I just feel like, and when I was thinking about intentional harm the other day, when it came to me, it was really, and I'm gonna get back into this, it was really like I was thinking about a past experience and how somebody had did something to me, you know, to create this delusion, to have me bound, right? Because it was some sort of binding. And it's just like, you didn't know how I was going to respond to that. You didn't know if that would end me or nothing. But the thing is, part of that was known and unknown. But the thing is, right, like, it did end me. It was an ego death. You know, it was an ego death. It was an identity death. Part of me had died, you know, in order to be burned and to be alchemized and to transform it. But everybody doesn't have those abilities, or they don't feel like they have those abilities, or they're not fully developed, right? So you don't even know, right, what you're doing when you're doing it. Some. But there's intentional harm. Some of y'all are very angry because you're realizing this person did this on purpose. This situation was on purpose. This person, this. I'm keep saying person, but I'm trying to say place, but it's a person. So heavily, the collective is relating to a person, and I don't feel like this is just from parents, right? I feel like reflecting on the harm you received from a parent, unintentional or intentional, caused you to see this person, right? So some people are burning it down and they don't have the capacity to rebuild it, and they don't want to. New beginnings. They don't want to. And I feel like some people are getting help for themselves with this Three of Pentacles, because even though I responded on social media like, hey, the mother wound, somebody asked me like, how do I learn more about what you're talking about? And I said, well, the longest way, or the long answer is like, get you some therapy to help recognize patterns and wounds as it related to parental or mother wounds. And I said, the short answer is to get a reading or energy healing, you know. But what I should have put on there, because I had just woke up, what I should have put on there, or not just woke up, but what I should have put on there was like, also, even if you get the reading, it's going to lead you back around. You get the reading or the healing, it's going to lead you back around to therapy, right? So I feel like some people are like, I'm not rebuilding this. This is burnt to a crisp. What this used to be is unrecognizable now that I see you. And some people doing what they got to do in collaboration: therapy, fasting, meditating, yoga, praying, you know, studying their Bible, energy healing, Reiki, tarot and oracle readings, you know. They're doing it to help them with this new beginning, because it's just like, literally, with this intentional harm, you tried to end me. This binding or whatever, this would have ended me. You know, and my thing is, like I said, from my experiences, it unalived a part of me, right, that needed to die. But the thing is, and some people like, oh, well, you should be thankful for that. And I like, fuck out of here. You don't know how this was going to go. And some people did know how it was going to go, and they wanted it to go exactly like that. Exactly like that. It's giving delusions of grandeur. What else is here? What did this person or this energy, this situation want to happen, because give me some more on this Devil. Bitch. And you saw how quick that flipped out. Painful endings, deep wounds, betrayal, loss, crisis, failure, collapse, defeat. They wanted to end you, bitch. Some of this, and this could be in different aspects, because there was this one deck I was going to use, but it's like, no, I don't use that. You know, but I may close it out with that in the light oracle deck. Some of this was to obscure, to diminish, to take away, to kill, to put your light out permanently. You see this? This is overkill. This is overkill. Painful endings, deep wounds, betrayal, loss, crisis, failure, collapse, defeat. Ultimate completion, final manifestation, result of true will, recognition, continuation, realization, and endings. Like I said, realizing. So we can't make light of this. This Ten of Swords. You know, this is air energy, but each of these swords represents some form of betrayal, hurt, or wound, right? We can't make light of this. We can't say, well, it was unintentional. They didn't know. I didn't know me doing this, or you know, lacing your weed was going to cause you. Yes, you did. You had seen the shit before. You was trying to recreate what you call love. What you call safety and security in your home. That's what you grew up in, that chaos. What else here on this Devil? This Ten of Swords. Child. Cycles. Completion, accomplishment, wholement, attainment, fulfillment, travel, celebration of life. But this is giving cycles, right? This is going on all over the world in some form or other, no matter your culture or ethnicity, your geographic location, right? But I just feel like it was just like continue. Somebody wanted to keep this going, a situation, like they wanted to keep it going, you know. And I feel like this energy, realizing this is complete. Like I said, they don't have the capacity and they don't want to. The new beginning, the love, the why attracted this, whatever motivation is for the separation after this realization, because like I said, a lot of people are in anger. And anger gets shit done. And now I ain't telling you to go physically harm or do what was done to you. That's not what I'm telling you. But I feel like the collective I'm talking to, like, they don't even have the energy for that. It's like, all I got the energy to do is get me together so I don't even have to encounter this shit again. Because when I tell you I experienced it, it was just like, I don't want to be hit no more. This not nobody dealing with it, because the thing is, it's a burden, extra responsibility, hard work. And the thing is, when you look up after this done, this burden, this hard work, you're trying to sustain with this, you know, here. Because some people with this fantasy, some people were on the other end of this trying to make excuses for a partnership, a situation, or accepting this. Some of these swords that was slowly killing or unaliving somebody or wounding them, because they're constantly making excuses. Well, they don't do this, and well, they didn't do. Some people just don't do this, or some people just don't do this. Like, you got to accept it, but it's constantly wounding you, taking away from you, triggering you. And the thing is, some of them grew up where their whole life was a burden. That was love. Like, if love wasn't burdensome, love wasn't exhaustive, love wasn't destructive, that wasn't love for them. And my thing is, okay, I get that you grew up like that, but at some point you don't like it. But then there are some people that do like the chaos that ensues. They're accustomed to it. They're programmed. If it's not around them, something is wrong. They don't know how to let their nervous system rest. And with this Cancer full moon, we're talking about hydration. We're talking about nervous system. They don't know how to let their nervous system rest. And when you grow up in devil energy, self-destructive behavior, you're not taught that. There is no resting of the nervous system. It's hypervigilance. But that don't give you no reason to try to put nobody else in chains. It's just giving animals. 10 and 10 equating to a 1. We got new beginnings. Anything else? Moodiness, disappointment, overreactive, imagination, jealousy. We got Scorpio and Libra energy with this Knight of Cups, right? The jealousy here is nothing to do with anybody outside of you. But then some people, you've been dealing with a situation where they're jealous of your children, they're jealous of your family, you know, but the jealousy is more so they're jealous of you. You know, they're jealous of you specifically. This could be a partnership. I'm hearing it's definitely a partnership. So this just giving like they're jealous of you specifically. So if they can throw you off, they can bind you and control you because you got all these gifts on you and all these abilities and all this education, and they jealous because you went to an HBCU and they only felt like they could only go to a college or a city college or a local college. And you know, and it's different for everybody, but this is like jealousy. And that's why they wanted to keep you bound. So, you know, it's really because, you know, I'm getting let me be great. They didn't want you to be great. They saw what was on you. You may not have been fully conscious of it yet, because sometimes people see your light and you ain't even encountered it yet in a conscious way. But some people see your light and they just feel like, well, let me just go ahead and take advantage of this. They ain't even fully aware of it now. So if I lock them down and put them in chains now, it ain't gonna blossom. And if it do, then I got control over it. Get the fuck up out of here. But this is love for some. But it was basically jealousy. And this could be your creativity too. All right. So we're going to get to the resolution of this. And like I said, the realization, dishonesty, what lurks, electricity. Like I said earlier, this is a shock, right? The shock coming into consciousness and things of that nature, right? But we already got you resolving it. Meditation, prayer, energy healing, whatever you're doing, oracle, tarot readings. And some people are like, well, how can oracle and tarot readings help you to heal and recognize? A lot of times you know something's wrong, but you don't know what is wrong. So oracle or tarot readings can help you. You know, if the person that you're going to has the ability. You know, my specialty is bloodline and intergenerational trauma healing. So if they have the ability to see, they will see. Right? And if they've been working on their own, because you can't see shit that you ain't resolved in yourself. And the thing is, if it ain't never existed in you, because we all have the same trauma, but some of us have different traumas that are unique to certain individuals. If you're not working on it, you're not. Anyway, I don't need to over explain that. If you know, you know. But the resolve here, this is nostalgia. This is soulmate vibes. But this is ultimately intuitively getting back to self. If you're new here, I read intuitively. The readings are not gender nor sexuality specific. I read the energies of masculine and feminine. And if you would like a personal reading, all that you need to schedule that will be listed in the description box below this video. But yeah. This is nostalgic. This is soulmate energy, but this is getting back to self. You know, who am I? Because when you dealing with an energy like this, even if you found yourself before you were bound, right? Or even if you was just like, too late, I was bound, so I had to. The longer you let this go, the more work you have to do. But basically, this is helping you get back to yourself, because when you're in energy like this, when you're sleeping with the enemy and you're dealing with unintentional harm, I feel like, since I want to say unintentional, some people that are watching this, like, it's resonating with you, but you still want to believe that they didn't do it on purpose. But this is your confirmation that they did, child. 666, mind, body, and spirit, angel numbers coming to me. But this is you getting back to yourself, because this whole union that it had you lost, like, you know, because if you was found, if you were aware, you wouldn't have encountered this. And it's not like, oh, I'm aware of everything, so I don't encounter nothing. There's no this new shit, good, bad, ugly, light, dark, you know, balanced, unbalanced, being revealed, being recognized, being circulated all the time. That's why some people feel like the timelines are all happening on simultaneously. It just depends on what plane you're on. But this is getting back to you, this soulmate, this nostalgia energy, getting back to me, who I am, who I was, you know, who you are, who you were, happy memories. But the thing is, when you come up out of this, there's no getting back to who you were, because who you were attracted this. I mean, let's have some accountability here. It's not all the other person's fault, because you had the red flags, you know, that you didn't listen. But part of your trauma is why you didn't listen. Trauma has you ignoring your intuition like a motherfucker. Most people go through, like my therapist told me, most people go through life with trauma blinders on, and it resonated. It resonated heavily, you know, and it's a true thing. And everybody's trauma is different. Everybody's processing is differently. It's different. It's all layered though. But like I said, the resolution, you getting back to yourself. And then we have Ace of Pentacles, more new beginnings, abundance, manifestation, new career or financial opportunity, new venture, prosperity. This is you rebounding back. And this is happening quickly. Movement, progress, action, integration, determination, willpower, control, direction, departure, courage. It's not happening as quick as the Eight of Wands, but it's still moving fast. The ball is going. The wheels are turning, right? And I feel like it's not moving as quick as the eight of Wands with this 7 denoting the divine. It's not moving as quick because this is intentional. This is intentional. This is when the time is right. Very strategic about how you getting to you. And this strategic, this getting back to self, this new beginnings, this abundance is different for everybody. Some of this is just talking about you ending it with this person. Some of this is just talking about you coming to the realization and you're getting back to yourself, and then this and this. Maybe you haven't ended it, but maybe you're just like, well, I'm in this for the time being and I'm gonna work on me. Like there's been a disconnect, you know, but those who are still physically in it, there's going to be some tumultuous accounts, because when you have somebody that's trying to intentionally bind you, right, and intentionally do harm, and you are not responding to the harm the way they anticipated or the way people would normally respond, you know, people, they tend to do more. It's giving Scorpio vibes. And I'm not saying that Scorpios do more, but I feel like Scorpio being represented by the death card. Yeah, because Capricorn is the devil. Sometimes, and I mean, Scorpio is a lot of endings and beginnings in terms of transformation and rebirths and unalives and rebirths. And it's just ego transformation, like shedding skin, right? So it's giving Scorpio vibes, because I watched this one video years ago, and this person was saying, like, you know, you have like huge Scorpio energy. It resonated with them, and saying like you have huge Scorpio energy in terms that you're not responding, you're not giving, you know, maybe you have a poker face as to what is being done to you, and this person feels like, oh, okay, well, it's not working, so let me do more. Because they known of people, when they do this person acts like this, but you're not acting like that, so maybe that's not enough, so let me do more. Let me do more intentional harm. Let me do more destructive behavior, sabotaging of self, you know, toxicity, addictions, things of that nature. So it may have just started with destructive behavior, and now we got codependency, toxicity, attachment, addiction, restriction, like, you know, controlling, binding, like having you change. So it's just like, let me do more, right? But I feel like I said, for those who are trying to stay in it, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just detached from it. That can only last so long, because, you know, now they hitting you with more, you know, for lack of a better term, more bombs. More bombs. They shooting at your feet more. Pew, 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 pew. You might have been able to dance on one leg and then the other with the shots they were shooting at you. But now they got a semi-automatic. Anything else? The sun. Positive pleasure, happiness, vitality, fun, joy, warmth, celebration, success, rebirth, all is well. I was reading something today and they were like, which planet is best for illumination, communication, something like that. And I was thinking Mercury, and some people's like the sun, and then some people saying Mercury and the sun. And it was just speaking like, you know, following the sun can be very illuminating, which I feel like it is. It casts a light, you know, on all things. But as I'm going through this, it's really the full moon casts a light on what is already unseen. So even though you got the sun here and the light is being shown down on everything, what is hidden, the light is not shining down on that, right? But if you go into the full moon or the moon energy, the moon is going to reveal the hidden. So you need both. You need the balance here, right? But this is what I was saying. A lot of these things that you may notice during the full moon, the situation as it relates to intentional harm got worse, got more aggressive, got stronger, got more combative, got more violent. And it's the moon was, and it's happening during the moon to reveal to you, see, this is what it is. But a lot of us are centered around masculinity, toxic masculinity. Even if you're not a male or identify as a male, some women and some people that identify as women, they have they're masculine centered, you know, or can you understand, they're masculine centered, right? So it's just like they only go off of what they can see. I had this one person and they were a Sagittarius, which is a masculine sign. They were telling me like, oh, why would you believe something you can't see? Just because you can't see it don't mean it ain't there. You feel the shit though. Like, don't you? And I'm saying don't you, talking to this Sagittarius person like, don't you? But it's clearly they don't. Like, it's just giving your presence is felt. You know, again, it's giving a little bit Scorpio energy. And you don't have to be a Scorpio or have Scorpio placements. You could have just gotten that energy. But what you're dealing with or what you come to the realization of, you might have got a hit on it this last Scorpio season when the veil was thin around Halloween. Somebody, this is the continuation of that, the culmination, the resolution, the cherry on top. So that's why you did this. This is the completion, the counterpart to the confusion and the chaos that was sown then. Because even though I'm not talking about the Scorpio full moon or the full moon that occurred during Scorpio, which I believe was Taurus, the Scorpio is believed to have dark energy anyway, or not even dark energy, but energy in terms of where it can obscure. And it really, because a lot of people do, you know, feel like secrets and Scorpios are synonymous. And it is, but it isn't. It's just that Scorpio is a sign that is all about, or can be very comfortable in moving around and maneuvering in the dark. You know, we were talking about the moon and how the moon can illuminate what is not hidden, and the sun illuminates even more what is there. And like I said, the sun illuminates more of what is already there that you see with the naked eye, and the moon illuminates what is being hidden, intentionally or unintentionally. And we're talking about intentional harm. Like I said, the resolution of this is you getting back to yourself, new beginnings with yourself, and you're doing this with intention to heal you from this. You're on the right path and you will be successful in it with this sun energy. But when it comes to illumination, clarity, utilize all your resources. Because like I said, the thread was talking about the sun and Mercury. So you got the sun, which is Leo energy, Mercury, which is Gemini and Virgo energy. And then like I said, the moon stood out to me as far as like illuminating things, and that's Cancer energy. And a lot didn't happen this Cancer full moon. And I feel like the thing is with the Cancer energy, Cancer is ruled by the 4th house, which is, you know, where roots and lineage are. You know, the moon is the mother, right? So, and I just feel like you've gotten to the root of whatever had happened during Scorpio season. I'm hearing Virgo season and Gemini season. So we're going to get both sides of this. During Virgo season. No, I'm sorry. Gemini season, Virgo season, and Scorpio season. What was revealed? As well as, it wasn't Leo season. There was a Mercury retrograde during that season. So again, that's giving me more Virgo. Yeah, I'm not getting Leo season. I'm getting Gemini, Virgo, and Scorpio season. What had transpired for the collective as it relates to this intentional harm during that time? In the physical, what had transpired for Gemini, Virgo, and Scorpio season for the collective as it relates to this intentional harm? What had transpired in the 3D? And if you don't have to be a Scorpio, Gemini, or Virgo, but if you do, I mean, that's further confrontation. I'm hearing don't take these. What had happened? Gemini. Gemini. Virgo. Okay, this turned over and this one wanted to come out. Or was coming out. And then Scorpio season. What had happened? And Scorpio season. Memories of love. We got this 6 of Cups at the bottom of the deck again. So, Gemini season, heartache and loss. We got 3. So somebody I'm hearing strongly found out they have been cheated on. Had been cheating during Gemini season. You know, we got if the rumors were true. So some people found out in the physical that they were being, I'm hearing, used and abused and cheated on, and some people, the rumors, it was rumored to believe, and I'm hearing it was right in front of your face and you didn't see it, but then this Cancer full moon energy revealed it, right? Because the full moon will reveal a lot of shit that is hidden, like I said. So this is to do with some suppressing of the throat chakra, lack of boundaries. Or it's why this happened, but it's also why you didn't see it for what it was at the time. You wanted to believe the fantasy that you had created in your head. I'm hearing specifically. Okay. 3, we got the seed was sown then. So even if you like, I ain't never had no red flags, I ain't never had no reason to believe this person would do any of this, but it's just like that was the first flag. I'm hearing and you ignored it, you know. And like I said, this is related to the Cancer full moon. So you ignoring it is to do with trauma that you had to heal, and you getting it together now with this new beginning and working on yourself with this 3 of Pentacles. Right? But now you know. So it's like, don't even beat yourself up because you ignored it, didn't see it for what it was. Even if it was right in your face, you realize that now. You just have to forgive yourself for what you didn't know. But I feel like some people do the cheating in order to control people, to make them constantly feel insecure. Some people dealing with somebody that's like, you the reason why I cheat. You caused me to cheat. You know, you caused me to cheat. You caused me to do this. You made me cheat. Like, get the fuck up out of here. If you believe that shit, you should be telling them, if I got that much control over you and you out there just giving it away community, if I got that much control over you, let's put some money on it, right? But some people did this to control you, to hit you where it hurts. They knew cheating on you would hurt you. You know, they knew it would hurt you, even though you're not conscious enough to leave them because your boundaries are not firm. You know, they knew. And this is to do with some trauma of your throat chakra, right? This is to do with some type of self-esteem of speaking up and speaking out, right? But they knew 444 on the timer that this will cause you to diminish, to shrink, to, you know what I mean? So they can do more manipulation, more control, more restrictions, more, child. You get it, you get it. So that's for Gemini. What happened during Virgo season? So we got the devil that came out again. Movements, choices, decisions. Somebody tried to do something to block your money. You know, some of y'all know exactly who this is. They tried to do some things to block your money, block your growth, block your expansion. Movements, choices, decisions. They may have consciously triggered you, been doing things to get a reaction out of you. That would mess up your coin or your partnership, love, you know, new opportunities, new seasons of abundance, healing, creativity. That's just like, man. And like I said, the root of this was just jealousy. You know, and the thing is, you just like, why would you want to be with somebody you're jealous of? That is what they came up around. This person constantly gets with people they jealous of. They want to covet it, or like, yeah, bitch, you ain't all that like you thought anyway. That was love for them. That was life for them. They may have had a parent that was in competition with them, or brought people around that didn't like them, they kids and all this other shit, right? So they used to the jealousy, the harming people that you're supposed to love, or you say you love. But this energy during Virgo season, there were things done to you know, in terms of your abundance, your pinnacles, your security on this physical earth, your security and stability on this physical earth, financial, home, whatever it is, that was supposed to block you. But this was love. Some of people did this to try to bring you back into them, to try to create what y'all had that was beneficial for them, because we got the devil twice here. So we began with this, and like I said, it was all to do with what? Love. And now we here again. This happened during Virgo season. Love, right? But some people, that is love for them. Like I said, and sometimes you got to realize or let people know, or just realize, I don't want to be loved like that. You can't go back and forth with them and tell them that ain't love, right? Because maybe that is love to them. What you got to tell them is, you know, and what you got to know for yourself, I don't want to be loved like that. I deserve better, or maybe I don't deserve this love. You know what I mean? Let me go on, because I'm a shit on it. We ain't even talking about that though, but that's the other side of it. We talking about when you know this love, this toxicity, this destructive behavior does not feel like love for you, so you don't want it. You deserve better, you want better. Maybe you don't even know what you deserve or know what you want, but you know you don't want that. But some people tried it again in Virgo season. And some people may have ended it in Virgo season too. But yeah, this is where we're at now. Like I said, new beginnings, new journey, working on you. So even though if you ended this in Virgo season, or realized it in Virgo season, because this can resonate past, present, or future for you. You started therapy then, or you started prayer then, or you started studying the Bible, right? And maybe now with this Cancer full moon, you've added therapy to studying the Bible and doing this. And maybe you've been doing energy work and therapy, but then now it's just like with this Cancer full moon. Okay, I'm already doing energy work and therapy. Now let me add some meditation to it. Let me add some prayer. Let me add some studying different verses of the Bible, right? So now we have balance here with this 11. This is really bringing you back to yourself. This is giving me magician energy. We got the wand, we got the pentacles, we got the cups, we got the swords, we got earth, air, water, and fire here, right? And then we have a angel looking like being with this balance. I'm seeing 1111. So if you have been seeing 1111, or you're going to start seeing 1111, it just lets you know you're on the right track, right? You did what you needed to do. This eel energy that was dishonest, electric, you know, what lurks. It shocked the shit out of you. Like I said, when that card first came out, it was shocking, the information, the consciousness or whatever. But I feel like those who are at the end of this and at the balance of it, and have taken all that has been done with them and utilized it to alchemize with this fire here. Because remember, we were talking about, you see that says you burning, right? And hell, and burning in hell with the devil, all of that. You alchemized it, right? You did some whammy bammy magician energy. And magician, it denotes alchemization too. Like, if you see an 11-11, you start seeing 11-11, you're on the right track. We got the sun card coming out here too with success. You are on the right track. And even if you're not there yet, you're here. You're just realizing this here. This is your destination if you continue on putting you first. Getting back to yourself. Cause whoa. This is some shit. This intentional harm. This is some shit. And my thing is, if you are at this 11-11 in this magician energy where you alchemize it, you turned that thing around. Somebody is getting, I'm wanting to say stuck, but I'm hearing karma. So, what Cardi B say? When it's up and it's up and it's up and it's stuck. I could have that wrong, right? But woo, woo, woo. You get it. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. You get it. But like I said, it's really giving magician energy here. Hold on. I'm checking something. Ooh. Yeah, it's really giving magician energy, but this is also like the justice card. Like I said, karma coming in. This represents the justice card in this deck, right? But it's the justice card. Fairness, truth, clarity, equality, balance, cause and effect. And we were talking about clarity, insight, illumination. The scales are being balanced. Baby's gonna be anyway, because we started with 15 equating to a 6, the devil. 6 is about balance, the devil. We got 6 of cups, you getting back to yourself, nostalgic energy, soulmate energy, familiarity, innocence, joy. Baby's gonna be balanced anyway. You got the imbalance and then you got the balance. Ciao. Well, what's the overall theme, both sides of this currently? The ones that were doing the intentional harm to the collective and the ones that received the intentional harm. And like I said, the root of this is the harm or intentional harm you received, you know, in terms of parental wounds. From your bloodlines, from your parents, from your ancestors. What is this in the 3D? For the ones doing the intentional harm and the ones on the other end and receiving the intentional harm as it relates to this collective reading, intentional harm. Thank you, Spirit. Doing the intentional harm minus touch, we got 11 again. Like I said, some people felt like they want to control you. They want to suppress your light, your abundance, whatever it is. And even if they don't want you to have it, and then if it does come, they want to be able to use it and control it. Midas touch. Y'all heard about King Midas. Everything he touched turned into gold. He ended up what? Unaliving himself, starving to death. But if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, that was his wish. his wish was gold. And he ended up starving to death, right? Because even when he touched food to eat, turned to gold. Can't eat gold, bruh. And like I said, this is the balance, this is the justice, this is the karma, this is the fairness, right? And they ended up what? Starving themselves. Started with an imbalance, ended with a balance. All right, so your energy, the other energy that is being intentionally harmed, I am golden. Now, ain't she sweet? Oh, this is interesting. This all started due to jealousy, right? And it may resonate with the family wounds that cause you to be able to recognize this or cause this to come up again, because it needs to be resolved. And it is being resolved, and it has been resolved for some people, and it's going to have to be resolved for some people, right? Past, present, future, right? So it started with somebody trying to get the gold from you. You were the gold. Because again, like I said, it's knowing your worth. Some people don't see your light, or some people aren't conscious of their own light, but then you have these predators that are, and they try to bind you, to control you, to manipulate, to use, to abuse, to restrict, to force into submission. So where we are now currently is Midas. If you know the story, King Midas and him starving himself. And where you are currently, I am golden. You still got the light. You even more sparkly. It's brighter. You got more shit up in there with this gold. You got some diamonds. You got some rubies and some sapphires. Before, you might have had your little cubic zirconium because you wasn't even aware of it, that was trying to grow up to be a diamond. Or you had a Herkimer diamond as you was trying to grow up to be a diamond. But it's just like now, I am the king. I am the plug. I am the queen. Ooh. Let's get the overall message here in alignment with the highest good of the collective that is resonating with this reading, both sides. But we want one card. Okay. Both sides, but we want one card. Thank you, Spirit. This is work your light. And if you got somebody that got this on them and they are attracted to you, wouldn't you consider that a privilege? Wouldn't you figure like, you got two cards anyway, child. When you figure like, man, they want me, shit, I must be, well, what is it about me? And if you don't know what it is about you, that should have been your initiation, your jump start to figure what it is. If you ain't never thought you was shit, you know, for this intentional harm energy, if you ain't never thought you was shit, and then you got somebody that is everything, all things that you want to be, that you covet, why don't you figure out what they see in you, and maybe you could see it too. Get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitive, connect with nature. Star mother, how can you mother yourself? Alright, so I'm just told not to get into this intuitively. We're going to read the guidebook meaning for these. This is an action card here. So we have get grounded, which is something that helps you get clarity, right? Connecting to the body that you're in so you can feel when you don't consciously know in your mind. Because even if the mind doesn't know, the body going to tell you what's up if you're connected to it. Get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with the nature. You're being called to get grounded to ensure that your luminous field is clear and your inner well is full. If you're not grounded, it is all too easy to get swept up in other people's energy and mistake it for your own. Your boundaries will become blurred as you are absorbing the energies around you and struggling to define what is their stuff and what is yours. If you pull this card, you are very likely an empath or a highly sensitive person and need time alone to fill up your well, balance your energy, and get grounded. There are two types of people, those who draw their energy from others and those who draw their energy from within. Reflect on which one you are and carve out time each day to ensure your well is being replenished. Being sensitive is a superpower, but like all powers, it needs to be nurtured in order to be fulfilled. It is easy to get swept up in the high frequency energies that are swirling around the planet. The quickest and most effective way of clearing all of this from your field is to ground yourself by connecting with Mother Earth. There are many ways to get grounded. One of the most powerful ones is to practice earthing by connecting to the power of Mother Earth. Spend time in nature, put your hands on a tree, your palms are extensions of your heart chakra, or walk barefoot on the earth. Do your light activation. Do something to get grounded and connect with the earth. Now, speaking of this, like, there are two types of people, those who draw their energy from others and those who draw their energy from within. I don't deal with people that every time we talk or interact, I feel drained. I don't deal with that. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's unintentional, but I feel like sometimes people know very well, like if you call somebody or somebody call you, I always feel better after I talk to you. Now the conscious is moving into intentional. Well, I know if I call them, I'm going to feel better. Yeah, is that balance? How are they feeling after they speak to you? Right? You got to ask yourself this. How are you feeling? But you got some people that siphon energy intentionally and getting energy from other people. Part of this intentional harm, that is what it's about. Because this is still energy. If they're trying to submit your light, they're trying to suppress your light, they're trying to control your light. And we got the Mother Earth and we got the Star Mother here twice. I feel like heavily these mother wounds, these parental wounds, these lineage wounds, because it may not have exactly come from your mother, but it came from your bloodline, right? You have to be protective and aware of yourself. And if you're not aware of yourself, the work you're doing with this Three of Pentacles and this Fool energy will help you be more aware of yourself, give you more clarity and insight. And even when you're in therapy, doing Reiki, energy healing, getting readings and stuff like that, you shouldn't have to do them forever. You shouldn't always have to do them forever. The insight that you get from those outlets, right, or those options and those resources help you, strengthen your own intuition and help you with the trauma so you can trust yourself more, so you can know what it is more, right? You shouldn't have to do that for forever. Unless it's something like, okay, this is so many components, I can't really see through this and I need a little assistance. Discernment is needed. But you may want to do it a little time to get you back to yourself. So it's just like, oh, okay, I know what I need to do. Now we have Star Mother. This is an inquiry card. Star Mother, how can you mother yourself? You are more held than you could possibly imagine, loved and cherished so dearly that if you knew, you would not spend 1 second of your life in separation, worry, or fear. Let the mother carry your burdens. Let her rock away your fears. Lay all your worries, regrets, shame, and guilt on her altar. Please, please, sweet child, do not fear. You are love in motion. If you allow it, you are already healed. Let her remind you of your goodness. Let her love away your fears. Your capacity to love and hold others is limited to your capacity to love and hold yourself. Be compassionate with your sweet body, mind, and soul. Treat yourself like a beautiful spirit that you truly are. Treat yourself like the beautiful spirit that you truly are. Remind yourself that you are doing your best and try not to carry it all on your own. You have got this. You have got this, and the mother has got you. Let her broad arms take away your burdens. Let her lift the weight of the world off your shoulders. Forgive yourself, my dear sweet child of the earth. So this is saying mother yourself. Some people are like, well, I didn't have a mother. You can mother yourself, right? And the best way that you know how. Sometimes starting off, the best way that you know how is doing the opposite of the mothering you got. If you were met with an impatient mother, it's being patient with yourself. If you were met with an angry mother or anger, it's being, unangered with yourself. If you were met with confusion, it's giving clarity. It's giving asking questions with yourself. You work your light inquiry. How can you mother yourself? That's the end note of this. And like I said, therapy and all the other, tools I mentioned, therapy, tarot reading, energy healings, they help you with these questions. They help you gain this clarity. They help you help yourself. If you're tapped in, if that's your intention. If you're just doing therapy, energy healings to say you do it on this whole wellness trend, and child, woo. All right, thank you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and or comment if you would like to request a personal reading. All that information will be listed below this video to schedule personal, or if you want an instant reading, that information will be listed below this video as well. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment.